Hello, Matty coming at you with another Final Fantasy episode for episode 6 today of our Dungeon Let's Play series. Thank you ever so much for joining me, welcome to the video. And today I am going as a dancer, which is a ranged DPS. The dancer uses these chakras, whatever, uses them things. And today we're doing Haukke Manor. So once used by Seedseers as a place for spiritual reflection and meditation, Haukke Manor was long frowned upon by the people of Gridania as a symbol of excess. After years of protest, the building was finally sold to a wealthy Wildwood Elsian by the name of Lady Amandine. While little is known of the lady, it was said that she was exceptionally vain, and to maintain her impeccable beauty, she would spare no expense, from facial creams concocted from rare Curthian honeys to shampoos delivered from the milk of exotic purbles, whatever. Her daily ritual of beauty treatments escalated until it was rumoured she was bathing in the blood of her virgin maidservants. No amount of man-made tinctures could however... Oh no, I hadn't finished reading that! Oh no! Oh, whatever. Go back and pause it and read it yourselves. You get the idea. But I have to have a quick repair and I will edit this part out while we wait for the dungeon to pop. So 10 minutes later, there we go, it finally pops. Oh, I'm still gutted that I couldn't read that in time. I really didn't give myself enough time to read that in editing, did I? Oh well, never mind. It happens. So the dancer that I've got is best in slot, so full 530 gear. It's got the 535 weapons from E12. I mean, I say best in slot. The new relic weapon is out now, which is actually better than everything I've got, but I can't be bothered to do the relic. It's not happening. I'll just get weapons from E12 and call it it. But just waiting on this last DPS to accept. There we go. And let's get into this dungeon. So again, just posting the macro again, and again we have a new tank again. I think every single episode this series so far we've had a new tank or a new healer, or somebody new at least. But this dungeon we've got me tanking. No, we haven't got me tanking. We've got me as a dancer, then we've got a Dark Knight, a Scholar and an Arcanist. And an Arcanist will eventually become either a Scholar or a Summoner. They will branch off. But this tank is first time tanking and they did a fantastic job. This dungeon, they did really, really well. There's no problem at all, and we got through this dungeon nice and quickly as well. I mean, the dancer's AoE is so powerful. Obviously I had Red Mage in the last episode, which is quite good at AoE. I would actually say that dancer's AoE is even a little bit better, to be honest. It's quite potent, very flashy as the dancer. So you do these dances to put yourself in like kind of 60 seconds of like heightened damage, and then later on you get like a technical dance which puts you even higher damage. And Swiggin's just logged on. Big boss man, it was his birthday yesterday, so happy birthday Swiggin. By the time this video goes up it'll have been about a week ago, but yeah, whatever, never mind, you get the idea. And these dungeons are actually starting to get a bit more interesting now as well. I think we've got a lot of the worst ones out the way. I mean, they're still not to the same level as what comes later in the game in the expansions. Like when you start getting to Heaven's Ward and Stormblood and Shadowbringers. But certainly by Realm Reborn standards, these dungeons now are starting to get a bit better, getting a bit more interesting. They're not quite so dark and dingy. I mean, he says we're in a dark and dingy mansion, but I quite like this dungeon. I've always had a bit of a soft spot for Haukke Manor. I must admit, it's quite a good dungeon. I quite like the bosses. It can be really cool if you do some big pulls in here as well. It's a bit of a test of tanking and healing if you do big pulls. I think before I've actually gone from the first boss pretty much to the second boss all in one big pull before my wife was healing, and she managed to keep me up, but it was tough. I think we only just did it, but it was satisfying to pull off. But I was really impressed at this point because the tank is actually using the stun on them enemies. So them enemies have got like kind of that big AoE move that they do around them, and anyone who's stood inside it gets petrified for about 10 seconds. And the tank is actually stunning the move, so that was really impressive. Very nicely done. Well, I'm just going in here and flashy dancing. Just killing all these mobs down, and we're pretty much at the first boss already. I mean, it's quite a small dungeon. It's Haukke Manor. It's quite compact, and you're also coming back on yourself quite a lot as well. It's not quite as self-explanatory as other dungeons, especially like kind of the first time as well. If you're the first time in this dungeon, it's quite easy to get lost because rather than like kind of going in a straight line, you're actually having to come back on yourself quite a lot. Well, our tank was just stunning that move again, but his stun move will now be in cooldown, so you won't be able to stun them. And then here we go, first boss already. So nice and straightforward, this one. Pretty much the same as most other bosses that we've seen in the dungeon series so far. It's just a bit of a nuke. She does put on poison on the enemies. Or on the tank, I think it might just be the tank, so the healers just need to Esther the poisons off. And Seven Night Eyes just logged in. That is my daughter in real life, and she will be joining me for a dungeon coming up later on in the series. I think it's Cutter's Cry, so I think episode 9, I think she comes along as well, and she comes and summons it. So the Arcanist that's in this dungeon with us now, the Arcanist is kind of the base of either Scholar or Summoner. And Scholar is a healer, which I am doing in the next episode. A job I haven't played for 4 years, so let's see how that goes. And then Summoner, which I'll do later on in the series, and my daughter Jasmine, comes as Summoner in that dungeon. But I'm just waffling away here because this boss is so easy. And it drops that key, and here you like, rather than run ahead like you would expect yourself to, you actually run back on yourself. So out of the boss room, backwards, and then down here. So past this loot again, same as always. And we're halfway through this video already. See, I said this was a quicker dungeon, this one, and it helps when you've got a good tank as well. I know they said they were first time tanking, but they do have such a good job. So just spam these down, pick up keys as we go around. And I'll speak to you again in a moment once we start getting to the second boss. And here we are coming into the second boss room. So we've actually got two bosses this time. I think it's the right one I think you're supposed to kill first. I can't actually remember off the top of my head. I think it's the right one, I'm not sure. But whatever, I'm just using AoE and just killing both of them simultaneously. Don't really make too much of a difference. So one of them does a big AoE around them. The steward, I don't think the jester really does anything, I don't think. Again, I can't really remember. This is why I said at the start of the series that this wasn't to be considered a guide. Just more of a, let's just go through them because it's fun, rather than like kind of taking everything I say as gospel, because I can't even remember a lot of it. I just kind of just go with the flow. Whatever. I mean, I could talk you through some of the things later on in the game, like kind of the raids and stuff like that, but the dungeons, they're just kind of quite mindless, to be honest. They're not too bad at all. So just kill this Manor steward. Steward. There we go. And you now do one thing that you don't do in any other dungeon at any point of the game. You use return. And if you're new, you have absolutely no idea to do that. So I'm just telling people that they need to use return, and you come back right to the very start of the dungeon and then go up the stairs. Bit of a strange way. No other dungeon in the game has that as a mechanic. Don't know why they did that, but it don't really matter. But you go from that second boss return, and then you kill this enemy, and then you go straight into the final boss. I mean, I said it was like a smaller dungeon. There are side rooms that you can go off and kill more enemies for experience and things like that, but most people don't tend to. And you don't even actually kill this enemy outright as well. I think you're taking down to about 50%. And then he goes into the boss room. There you go, 50%. And then he goes in there and unlocks the final boss. I've had the cutscenes turned off for years, so I'm seeing some of these now, like kind of for the first time, and I mean that I probably haven't seen in about 5-6 years. I forgot how freaky it is actually. She's a bit creepy, that one. But this boss, it's got a couple of different mechanics. So she puts candles around the four corners of the room, which continue to do damage to everybody. Now in theory you're supposed to run around and turn them off. Some parties do, some don't. I think it's dependent upon how quick you can kill her. She continues to do like kind of big AoEs around her. She keeps casting Thunder 3, and then she spawns loads of ads as well. Quite good to use a limit break right through the middle of them. If you've got a caster, that's really good, because their limit breaker's one big circle, which will literally like kind of kill everything. But we just didn't even end up using the limit break. I kind of forgot about it, and by that point it was already dead anyway. So there we go, really nice and easy, that one. And the tank then started asking did they do okay, which I said obviously they did, because they did a fantastic job. Couldn't even tell that it was their first time tanking, and I made sure to give them a comm as well. But there we go, nice short episode this one. And the next episode I'm going to be going as Scholar, so yeah, we'll look forward to that one. Let's see how that goes. Not as well. But thank you ever so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Thank you for joining me in this video, and I will see you in a couple of days for the next episode. Take care, stay safe, goodbye.